Hello, it's Tuesday, June 21st, 2016. I'm Jamoalki, and as of this recording, I'm still depressed, but I'm not dead. Hey, welcome back everybody. Thank you so much for choosing to spend a little time with me today. I appreciate it so very much. I've got what I think will be kind of a longer story today, so I want to get to it as soon as I can. Just remember, I'm all over the socials as Jamoalki. That's Jamoalki. Reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. There it is. Here I am. So let's get to it. Okay, so as I'm starting to get customary, I've got a little tidbit, little nugget for you guys in every show. And for this week, I wanted to talk about lettersagainstdepression.com. And this is a website I found through a different mental illness support website. And I kind of was interested in what it was they were doing, and so I signed up, and just yesterday I received a 3-page handwritten personalized letter specific just for me. So I went to the website and read a little bit what they're doing, and obviously they've got links and where you can get help, how you can maybe do some things to help, how you can volunteer through them. But you go into click the link to request a letter, and they ask you your name, obviously your address for the handwritten letter. There's a box for, let us know a little bit about you so we can make this letter personalized to you. A few other things. You can put your birth date in if you want, things like that. And I did that. And, obviously if you're concerned about getting your name out there, you could say you're whoever you are. And I used Jamoalki as me. And sure enough, yesterday I got this letter, and it was actually from Rob, the founder of the website, and it's a really, really nice letter. It's full of hope and advice. He shares his story, offers to for me to contact him back through email or through they have a PO box if I want to handwrite a letter. And it's just really nice. I wasn't sure what to expect when I signed up for it, and I'm really glad I did. And hey Rob, thanks for the letter. I appreciate it. And yeah, for sure, I'm going to get back in touch with you. He asked a couple of questions, so he's urging me to respond back, which was just fantastic. So lettersagainstdepression.com, check them out. I'll have a link on the webpage. So one more quick thing before I get going on my story. I wanted to say hey to Kelly from Scotland. It's a friend I've met through that Sick Not Weak chat site that I had mentioned a couple episodes back. Kelly, thanks for being there and sharing with me all the things that you do, and I really appreciate all our interactions. And so that brings me to the story. Kind of feel like I should set this story up a little bit, but I've got a kind of a long blog post, which I'm going to try not to read verbatim here, but it's what I'll be using to kind of keep my mind trained on the series of events here. So you may hear my mouse scrolling in the background or clacking on the keyboard. I apologize for that. But here's the story. This is the story of Jamoalki versus the Second Amendment. So you all know, if you've listened to all the shows, back February this past year was kind of a long month for me. I, went back and helped take care of my dad. We had the surgery and we've been through all this, and there's no sense boring you all with that. It was kind of a stressful time for me. I wasn't taking my medication as well as I should. And so this made March very long for me as well. I believe I talked about how I was kind of low at those times and whatnot. So yeah, I came back and, back at home here, and I'm trying to get back into my groove, get my sleep patterns right, get my medication the way it's supposed to be. But I was in a really bad place. And very similar to my suicide attempts, almost a year and a half ago now. I never felt like I was in crisis, right? It just was. I'm talking to Nora, I said, it's like doing the dishes, it was just, hey, this is my mind is in this train of thought, and this is just where I am. But I was in a rough spot, and I, kept playing it off to Nora and saying, yeah, I'm doing okay, just a little rough. And I'm very guilty of not letting her help me during that situation, and something I am trying to work on. But, I got to work on it, like so many things and so many of you guys out there. But I'm not sure this was kind of different during my kind of depression, my really thick bouts of depression, my kind of late nights and mornings and afternoons when I was on my own. My mind went to thinking about handguns versus shotguns, thinking about what would be the most efficient method to get a handgun or shotgun and use it on myself. I didn't know anything about guns. I don't know anything. My dad hunted when I grew up, but never nothing. I've shot a BB gun a couple times. Dave and I talk about maybe going to a shooting range sometime just to say we've done it, but I don't know anything. So I started doing research. What's the best caliber ammunition for, most damage at close range? What's the difference between semi-automatic and full automatic? What's the process like for getting a permit to purchase? Does it cost anything to get that permit? What's it cost for a gun? I have no idea. Everything, so I had to start learning. And I did. I spent, not hours every day, but hours in total, half hour here, half hour there. And it was just, it was like going to, sciencedaily.org, it's just something I was doing. It was matter of fact, it was doing the dishes. And, one day I found myself, at a local retail big box outlet that sells guns. And I was checking them out. I was talking to the guys there. I told them that my wife was concerned. There's been a rash of break-ins, and she was kind of worried about the safety of us and the kids. And they was like, oh, yeah, that's a real thing. Well, you want to kind of, this is what some things you want to look at. And so I was asking questions, hey, what, this, that, is this the best, I've never fired a gun. I don't know much about it. I'm not going to be picking a guy off from across the yard if it comes to that. And very nice guys helping me out, answering all my questions. I played along and said, okay, well, I'm going to need a secure case for this. Do you guys recommend a good safety class? Blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Really, really a perfect customer, I think. And it didn't take long for me to realize I didn't have money to purchase a gun at that point. I could very well have bought something with a credit card, but I wasn't sure. At that time in my head, I wasn't sure of timing of anything, so I let it go for now. I didn't want to put something on a credit card and have Nora, glance at a bill and say, holy cow, what did you spend $600 for at this store? So I decided, hey, I'm going to have to wait a little bit, and that's what I did. I waited. I didn't know what I was going to do. $600 is a lot of, small petty cash withdrawals for soda pop, so I wasn't sure. But as usually happens during that waiting time, my sleep got better, my medication became more normal, I got into a better place, I was more rational, I was, thinking clearer, and I remember actually being shocked about what I had been doing, and not so much the research, but actually being in a store, holding a handgun in my hand, checking it out, thinking, is this the one that could do it? I was shocked. I didn't know what to think, I guess. So being in a rational mind, then I decided, hey, I got to figure out, is there a way that something I can do today that would keep me 5 months from now from actually taking the next step in purchasing that firearm. We all know, it's big news these days, but background checks. I know there's a background check. Is there a way I can make it so that I fail that background check? I don't know. What makes you fail those? So, I looked it up. There's lots of different things, but the bigger ones are kind of felonies. And, if you've been committed to a mental institution of some kind. I'm not a felon. I'm not willing to go out and steal a car or punch a cop or, I don't know what those things would be. And the 2 times I've been hospitalized, they were, it was in essence judge ordered, but I had the option to say it was a voluntary stay. And therefore I don't carry a record with that. And I wasn't necessarily willing to go to a judge and say, hey, throw me in the mental institution for, so I didn't know. But I thought there should be a way, right? This is America. I should be able to find a way to protect myself from myself. So much focus is on protecting myself from you. But so I wanted to, me today wanted to protect me from more depressed tomorrow. So I went to the St. Paul Police Department, the place where they issue permits to carry. The permits to purchase are somewhere else, but I was closer by there. I thought, well, things are the same. And I told them my story and what I wanted to do, what I had gone through, what my purpose was. And a very pleasant, nice woman said, nope, we can't help you because the Second Amendment guarantees your right to a firearm, and it would be illegal for us to do anything otherwise. And I said, but come on, I'm standing here, I'm telling you the story. This is it. You're not violating my rights. This is what I want to do. And they said, nope, sorry. Good on you for wanting to do something. We wish we could help. Okay. So I thought, well, okay, who knows gun laws? And I thought, well, pro-gun attorneys know gun laws, right? They know them in and out. And so I contacted a few. I got a response back from a kind of a conglomerate group of lawyers who were all pretty much just take on gun Second Amendment cases. And the response I got from them was, hey, nope, sorry, there's no one here who is going to help you not be able to get a gun. And again, good on you, but we can't help. So then I thought, well, okay, let me go the other way. There's anti-gun organizations. I thought of them first. I was pretty sure that they would be willing to put the manpower into figuring this out for me. But I was a little uneasy, unsure. I didn't want to become a cause for them, right? I don't want to, for all I know, I was the first person to think of this, and I don't want them to use me to further their initiative. And, I wanted to use them for my initiative, but I didn't know where to go from there. So I sent an email. There's a protectminnesota.org, protectmn.org. I sent them kind of a standardized, generic, fill out an email on our website or a form on our website, send us an email. I got a response back from a gentleman named Jeff, who was fantastic. He was very kind of understanding of what I was trying to do. His first email was, hey, I don't know off the bat. I'm going to do some looking around. Why don't you go out and take a walk and, try to be well and do your best while, and I will get back to you. And that was nice. So he did come back. He called lots of people. He said he kept talking to this person, that person. Every 5 days, 7 days, I got another email from him saying, hey, I haven't forgot about you. I'm still going. Finally, he sent me an email, said he had talked to someone at the National Instant Crime Background Check System, and he used the term headquarters. I don't know how that doesn't sound true with information I know now, but that's what he said. And they advised him, in quotes, if you went down to your local police station, they could put you in the NICS database as someone who should not be allowed to purchase a firearm. And they said, for sure they were going to ask you a lot of questions, but they absolutely can make the needed entries into this NICS database, NICS. I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Wow, great. Thank you, Jeff. You're awesome. I thought, well, the first time I went, I didn't have specifics. Maybe they just took me as, hey, can you, whatever. Maybe they didn't understand exactly what I was asking, but here I am. I've got this information. I've got inside terms and acronyms, and this is great. I'm going to do it. And so I went back, talked to a different person. Same story. Second Amendment, blah, blah, blah. We can't do it. Again, good for you, but we can't help. They did on my way out, one other gentleman suggested that I try going to the St. Paul City Civil Attorney or maybe the Minnesota Department of Transportation Driver and Vehicle Services, which was kind of laughable, but he suggested, hey, you can have your license amended so you're prohibited from purchasing alcohol. Maybe they do something similar for firearms. And I didn't roll my eyes, but I rolled my eyes. But it's okay, great. You're giving me information, you're trying. I appreciate it. So off I went to see the civil attorney. They weren't sure. I got kind of blank, deer-eyed, doughy-eyed stares. They were intrigued by what I was trying to do, but they really had no idea. They made a couple phone calls, but no. Okay, great. So they suggested that I go look into getting a civil commitment, which is a term I hadn't really heard of. They didn't have a lot of information on it for me, but okay, great. They gave me an address for that. And also maybe try the BCA. Okay, I had no idea what that was. I looked it up as I was leaving. That's the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. So, starting to sound like serious stuff here. So I went to the address for the folks who know about civil commitments. Talked to a very nice woman there. Hey, great, you're doing a good thing for yourself, but I can't help you. I have no idea. Maybe try get a hold of some pre-petition screeners, the folks who are the kind of first line evaluators when someone is committed, and kind of screening them to be placed in a situation that I was trying to get to. And so I thanked her and off I went. I went to the BCA, really imposing kind of big security ridden building. It's what I picture an FBI building looking like. And I went into the front desk and said, "Hey, this is my story. This is what I'm trying to do. Is there someone here I can talk to?" And they said, "Oh, I have no idea." It was, like I said, a high security kind of area, so pretty much was just that entryway that I was in. I couldn't get into. Go up to the second floor, take a left, and go down to 203. No, it wasn't that, but here's a phone number for our firearms division. Maybe they know. Give them a call. Okay. So I went out in the parking lot. I called. Super nice woman named Lauren answered. She wasn't sure, but she said she would get back to me. Gave her my phone number, and I waited. So about a half hour later, she called back. She said, "Hey, really great thing you're doing, but I don't think we can help you. Maybe call the FBI division of NICS." And I was like, oh, okay. So now I'm calling the FBI. I've, never had I thought me and FBI would be together in the same sentence. But that's the organization that runs this whole background check system. So they should be able to help me, right? So I called and talked to somebody at the FBI, told them my story. They said pretty much, hey, nope, you've got to have, one of the two major disqualifiers, which I already knew, having a felony or being committed. But since I didn't have those, I was out of luck. And I remember I specifically asked her, I said, "So you're saying there's nothing in the system that would allow me to protect myself from buying a gun and shooting myself, even though I've rationally explained this story to you?" And she said, "Yep, that's what is happening." I was like, okay. But, again, another, hey, good for you. Wish we could help. Really discouraged at this point, and decided, okay, it's time to go home. I don't know what to do. And this is all just this past Friday that I was doing, most of all of this since I got that final email from Jeff about, going down to the police department and saying, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is the NICS system. So, okay, so on my way home, I call the Department of Transportation because I haven't gotten anywhere, and maybe they've got an idea. And the woman who I talked to, had a nice chuckle at the idea that, they could possibly amend my license to say I couldn't purchase a firearm. Wish we could help. You're doing a good thing. Good luck. Okay, so I got home. I wasn't sure what to do. I sent an email to my state legislator saying, hey, this is my story. This is the quest I've done. help me out. Is there anything, any idea what you can help me, any idea what I could do to make what I want to do happen? They're busy folks. There's a checkbox to say, hey, I want to be contacted back. I checked it. I don't expect to hear anything from them, but why not? I got to try. Maybe they do. So, a little while later, I got a call, a missed call, and a voicemail from Lauren asking me to call her back at the BCA. So I called back, and she had been, going around and, spent a good deal of time trying to find an answer for me. And, so much thanks to Lauren and Jeff on this. And she ended up at her supervisor's office, and the supervisor had an idea. And she actually knew of the exact thing that I wanted to do and the exact way to get it done. And all Lauren did was gave me an email address to email this woman, Miss Baker, and she can set you up. I was like, holy cow. Okay, good. So I sent an email to this Miss Baker, and I really didn't know how to have that conversation, right? It's kind of weird in email. So I sent a decidedly too long email, kind of expressing everything that I had been through and all the routes I had taken. And I hear that you may have such a thing that can help me do this. And please, if that's true, let me know. And I apologize if it's not true, but could you please just let me know anyway, so I'm not hanging out waiting. Probably, I don't know, like 5 minutes later, she emailed me back and said, yep, this is what we got to do. And once we do this, then you'll be set. You'll be in the NICS database as someone who is not allowed to purchase a firearm. And that's it. And I was shocked. I emailed her back right away. I said, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Thank you so much. She emailed me back right away. I said, hey, happy to help. So here I am with this information for everything I wanted to do. Wow. And it's basically, it's a form for me to fill out and sign in front of a licensed mental health professional. And then, they give their information as well and mail it back to the FBI. And in, 2-3 weeks, I won't be able to buy a handgun and explosives. Apparently, I don't know. I don't know what explosives that all entails. And really, I don't care. But it's just so, I verified, hey, is this going to put me on like a no-fly list? Or, what if I want to get a job or get a loan or sign a lease? Is this going to come back on any of those kind of background checks? And they said, nope. The only place this shows up is dealing with firearms and explosives. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So yeah, so here I am. I've got this information. I've talked to Nora, and because I'm at what I think is the end of this story, at the end of this journey to try to figure out how to not purchase a gun and use it on myself, I finally told her the story that I've just told you guys. I'm very guilty of not sharing everything with Nora, and it's a common thing. I'm sure all of you kind of feel the same way at times, where she's got so much going on. She already worries about me. Does she really need to worry about this as well? But so since I had this solution, as far as I understand it, I told her the story last night, and it felt good to share it with her, and she was happy that I did share it. A little ticked off that I hadn't shared it 2-3 months ago. But yeah, there it is. So I know you're all asking now, hey, where's this form? Where can I get it? Or I guess maybe not where can you get it? That doesn't assume, I shouldn't assume that everybody has the same thoughts that I do. But gosh, what is this form? Your curiosity. Hey, what? Tell us what? And I actually called a different person at the FBI and talked to them specifically about this form, and really told them my story again. And, all these people that I had talked to, and folks actually at the FBI associated with this, and no one knew of this. Why is that? Why isn't this information out there? Is there something that we should be doing to make sure that people, at least professionals, are aware of this? And she told me that, there are a number of psychiatrists who do know this. I think it's mostly, she said she thought it was mostly, psychiatrists in mental health at hospitals and whatnot. Maybe a few licensed social workers or masters of social work, but that's about it. So I asked her, I said, well, okay, why? What? And really her answer was pretty much the thing that I thought I would run up against when I started this, is that there's a considerable fear of being able to use this form inappropriately and, use it towards someone else, not yourself. So I could, think if, let's say I had, me and Dave and another buddy of mine who's a licensed social worker, we're all playing pranks on each other. Well, hey, how about this prank, licensed social worker? Let's get it so Dave can't buy a firearm ever. Joking ideas aside, this is, given the state of where mental illness is in the United States and the world, I'm sure that I could see this easily being abused to illegally prohibit someone who has a mental illness from legally purchasing a firearm, which they are entitled to. Whatever your kind of philosophical, political bent is on what the Second Amendment does for us as United States citizens, I don't think you can deny the fact that it does guarantee a U.S. citizen the right to be able to purchase and own a firearm. The fear would be that general knowledge of this process out there, why wouldn't, some crazy anti-gun folks decide, hey, let's start using this to push our agenda to, impose what we want upon others. And yeah, I think it could be pulled off like that. I don't think, because it's, it's a form, and yeah, it's witnessed and signed. And I assume that they're going to call, my therapist once he does sign it when I see him. And I'd like to think they're going to call me just to verify that, hey, this phone number is to you, and can you, at least cursory, answer these questions so we can verify it's you. But I don't think it would be that hard to misuse this form. And so I understood that. And so I asked her, hey, I know this isn't your role, but what would you recommend on this? I do this podcast. I try to connect with as many people as I can. Can I say, hey, here's the name of the form. This is where you get it. And she said that she would prefer that I didn't, and probably that the FBI would prefer that I didn't. So I asked her, could I do what I just did right now with you guys and say that I have this knowledge that there is this method out there. And if you want to contact me one-on-one and have a discussion, I could share that email address or that phone number with you. And she said, yeah, that would be absolutely fine, because, we want to help people who are in a situation similar to you, who, want to essentially give up this Second Amendment right in order to protect themselves. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm telling you guys, like I said, I've written out this story. I'm looking for places to get it posted just to have the story out there, because I think it's an important story, and I think there's knowledge that needs to be out there for people who want it. And yeah, I don't know. I want to share it. Yeah. So, that's my story. It was, 3 months in the making, I guess, but there was a lot of gap in the middle there. A big part of it just occurred just late last week, Friday. But yeah, it was crazy. I was kind of at wit's end. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Of course I understand that, this protects me from legally buying a gun. This doesn't protect me from illegally buying a gun. And, no one can help me with that except me. And, while I've proven that it's in me to try to take my own life, I really, for whatever quirky twist of thought or reason or whatnot, it's not in me to commit a felony to do so. And that's weird. Think about that for a little bit. I'm not willing to commit a felony, but I am willing to do serious harm to myself. I don't know. So anyway, I already said it. That's my story. Love to hear what anybody thinks about it. jamoalki@gmail.com, Twitter, @jamoalki, Facebook, facebook.com/jamoalki, and the website, jamoalki.info. Drop me a line. Let me know what you think. Tell me, if you thought, is this story as helpful as I think it is? And, again, no platitudes or affirmations. Just kind of tell me what you think. Thank you to everybody who continues to listen. Anybody new who's listening, welcome. There's 14 more shows before this to listen to, and hopefully many, 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 many more shows to come. So thanks for listening, everybody. Be safe and be well. I think I've got what could...